we would do this thing on set where whenever we were shooting exteriors, I would go around and tell people would be like, what are you shooting? And the bear and I would be like, we're shooting the bear, man. And people would be like, oh my God, what's this season about? And I go, Carmi's running an Indian restaurant now. Just straight up. And they're like, what? And I'd be like, yeah, biryanis, niharis, stuff like that. He's doing the whole Pakistani Indian thing, and it's really tearing him apart, you know? Ilaichi, there's a whole episode about that. It's really tearing him up, and you know, Ayo's really good. Like, she's really, you know, nailing it, and we're just happy to be a part of it, you know? And so there's at least 100, 120 people in Chicago who sincerely believe this new season of The Bear is about just spice levels and, you know.
And Carmi trying to get his Michelin star
trying to
at an
make
Indian
rotis
restaurant?
properly. Yeah.
Round rotis.
Someone's yelling at him,
Damn.
People would be like, see, that's why the show's so good. Unlike other shows, they take chances. And I'd be like, yeah, dude, you gotta tune in, it's crazy.
There is nothing I love more than seeing my friends have a moment. And right now, Poorna Jagannathan, Asif Ali, and Saagar Shaikh, they are having a moment. They are getting so much love from critics and audiences for their brand new show, Deli Boys, which is streaming right now on Hulu. Now, this show is not a poignant meditation on the complexity and power of South Asian American identity. It is a show about two complete fucking dumbasses and their mobster auntie who blows motherfuckers away and makes them clean it up. It is a show with a completely South Asian cast that is violent, hilarious, and something like we've never seen before. So I sat down with my 3 friends to talk about Deli Boys, stereotypes, and what it was like to face off against one of TV's most intimidating villains, Tan France.
Sorry right away, no delay, stop today. Make your daddy glad to have had such a lad.
This episode is brought to you by Kolkata Chai. Want a healthier morning habit? Put down the coffee and drink chai. I only drink the best, Kolkata Chai. You can get it right now at kolkatachai.co. Oh, and you should probably exercise. I heard that works too.
Look, most people watching this interview probably know you from your, let's call it was one of your breakout roles in Never Have I Ever.
Absolutely,
okay.
yeah.
You were phenomenal.
Thank you.
Okay.
My favorite role.
Now, rarely do I advise my friends that are performers to do this, but I read what somebody wrote about you on the internet. I want to read to you what Sonia Saraya from Vanity Fair said about your performance.
Okay.
This is really beautiful.
Okay.
She writes, I've seen a lot of actors attempt to flesh out the stereotypical demanding Indian mom, but I have never seen anyone do it as well as Jagannathan does. It's the little things, the nearly untraceable Indian accent, the mumbled exclamations in a different language, the slight gestures and paranoiac side eyes of the Indian auntie, the seemingly effortless bridging of the paradox between ancient tradition and modern necessity.
I've been lucky enough for creators and writers, a lot and mostly of color, like a Rami or a Mindy or an Abdullah, to be able to write three-dimensional, fleshed out characters, you know? Like in Deli Boys, my character has a backstory, and it just made me think how special this is, because I'm usually, or people like us, or women like me, are usually at the back of a story, right? Where like, we never come forward, we're never centered, we're never whatever. You know, I often say the writing in my career or whatever, Deli Boys really has moved us from being punchlines to being plot lines. And I think that transition and that arc is really...
The best part is just seeing you unload the clip on people.
On the what?
You're just unloading your clip on people. You're just...
Totally. And I haven't
like,
had my morning like
idiots.
coffee yet.
Yeah. That's like the whole show.
That really
is. Saagar and Asif fuck something up,
That's
and then
it.
you have to come in and
Clean
blow some kids' head off.
That's right.
So what I loved about what you've done in your career thus far is you've taken roles that at times can be stereotypes and elevate them. This is on your IMDb, okay? One of the stereotypes that Indian actors are often portrayed to be is doctors.
Right.
You have 57 credits on IMDb.
Doctors?
At least 18 are doctors, not 57.
Correct.
You've done it 18 times. At this point, you are more qualified to be a doctor than a DA. Yeah.
Totally. There was one Law and Order where my name was Dr. Sikh.
The religion?
Yeah, just straight up Dr. Sikh. And I told the writer, I was like, that's like calling you Dr. Jew. Like, that doesn't work out, you know?
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he's like, what do you mean? But it was at a different time, like that conversation, like I brought it up and nothing was done about it,
Right,
you know?
right.
And I honestly started feeling a shift in writing after Slumdog Millionaire. I think Frida Pinto was so iconic in it and kind of did something to shift something. And I can't,
But you could feel like a seismic.
oh, I could feel it. I could feel the shift from Dr. Lawyer into a little, just some other territories. I can't describe it. And then, you know, what is happening is all around during that time, there are very prominent Indian people emerging in politics and art and
Right.
music and stuff like that. And they're part of pop culture. So everything is helping to shift the fact that we don't only have to be, you know, a stereotype, to come in as a doctor. I mean, I'm happy to be a doctor on
Yeah.
like a Grey's Anatomy, but
Right.
there was never a role for me on that, you know what I mean? So yes, it's completely expositional.
So people don't know this about
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
But I had to look this up. You had a career in advertising.
Yes.
Until 2016.
Yes.
Meaning, just so people are aware,
Yes.
you were booking roles on HBO. And you still had a day job.
Absolutely.
And then and what I mean by that
Yeah,
is like
yeah.
post 2016, you then
I then-
acting became your full time.
Yeah.
Career.
I mean, I still remember my last day. Like, I still remember what happened. I was moderating something, and I got a text from my manager saying, call me. And I called during the break, and she said I'd booked a series regular on something. And I just left. I just checked out, I left, I caught a flight, and I just went back to LA. Like, I was like, I was done. I just stopped that day.
Oh, you did it in the most badass way possible.
I left the meeting.
You didn't tell your boss.
You know, I was
Wait, no,
working
no,
for
no, no.
myself.
I'm not gonna fact check you.
No.
Just say whatever.
No,
you
I
want.
didn't. No, in fact, the people who had hired me to do the job were like, "You booked it? Just leave. What are you doing here? Just go." So I left.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, my friend Mick McCabe was like, "Please get the fuck out of this room. Just go." So I left.
So people were just like on their
left.
MacBooks, and they're like, why are you here?
Totally. What are you doing here? Yeah, I was working in advertising until 2016.
Were you good at maintaining?
I was great.
Oh, damn.
I was great.
I was really bad at that.
I was great. Yes,
very,
it
very
was
bad at
great.
that.
I loved my job, but I never wanted to get promoted, ever. I didn't want the responsibility. I didn't want to get deeper into advertising.
Yeah.
But I longed to be fired. Long.
Do you feel great where you're at in this juncture in your career? Like, do you feel super happy and content?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's not
you're-
so much my career. It's like I turned 50 and then something shifted.
You have such a great time. I remember one time I was on a red
Yeah.
carpet. I was
Yeah.
telling Scott, our producer, this.
Yeah.
I'm like, Poorna is fucking living life. I was on the red carpet. I was like, you have to do these things where you like pose for Getty Images, and you walked by and you did this to me. And I'm like, oh, Poorna gets the joke. You really are you're living life.
I have a good time.
Yeah, you have a great time.
I have a good time.
So I was going to ask
Yeah.
you is that one of the things that I think is so beautiful is you don't have what a lot of performers have, which is like resentment or anger or hey.
At what?
At why has it taken so long for a show like Deli Boys to exist, or for me to get roles that are akin to what you're doing in Deli
Yeah,
Boys?
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
feel that at all. Why?
I could never.
this-
Could you imagine something like Deli Boys existing?
No, not at all.
So then, what am I going to be resentful for something that I didn't even think could exist? Like how
Well,
could I be
the resentment
angry?
would be why didn't this exist when I was 25, or like why wasn't this here when I was?
Oh, I totally understand why it wasn't here. I get it. My career is not my career. My career is just mapping a trajectory of us. That's all it is, right? And so this is where we are. At this point is where the Deli Boys universe exists in this point of all of us.
Most people know you as a TV mom, but I want to open the aperture and show people how big and amazing your life and career has been outside of television.
Oh.
I want to start with a play
Yes.
that you co-conceived.
Yes, nearby.
Nearby.
Yes.
Okay. Now people, when they hear the word play, they go, good for you.
Yeah, nice. Good job.
Nice. And they don't want to come. But this thing was huge.
Yeah.
It was toured around the world.
Yes, for 3 years we toured that play.
And it was in mostly sold out shows.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It won heaps of awards.
Yeah.
Vogue India named it one of the most impactful moments in the history of women's empowerment.
It was.
The
really
Sunday Herald
something.
called it one of the most powerful and urgent pieces of human rights theater ever made. What did that time of your career mean to you?
You know, the play is kind of. I did the play and I did Night Of right after.
Yes.
And those two things really solidified what I love about what I do, which is Nirbhaya was very personal. It told the story of my own sexual assault and those of, it was, hold on, Priyanka, Rook, Sneha, me. There was 5 women who told their own stories because it came from the rape, the gang rape and death of a woman called Jyoti Singh Pandey who was gang raped on a bus. You know, it was in New Delhi. It was in 2012. Except I had been on that route my entire teenage years. You know, that was the bus that I used to take. I used to travel in public transportation. She had just gone to a movie to see Life of Pi, and she just got on a bus. That's all she did, you know. Yeah. And so there was something about the story where everyone saw themselves in that because it was such an innocuous evening. Nothing had happened. It wasn't that late. It wasn't, you know, there was no. People always try and find excuses for why it happened, or what was she wearing? Was it late? Why was she out? You know, all that stuff. It was just, it could have been any of us. And there was a feeling in that country, and I think in the world, that it could have been any of us. And so the play and that time in India, for me, really is where the Me Too movement started. It was in 2012, and the Me Too movement was in 2018, many years later. Yeah. But I saw the groundswell of what it meant for people to say, enough is enough. And we really and literally poured out on the street and said, I want justice. This is not the way we want to live anymore. And in India, women get sexually assaulted, but the statistics are higher for boys than girls. And that's like, we are in that stage where we just don't talk about anything, any of it. And so Nirbhaya was a turning point, or Jyoti Singh Pandey's death was a turning point. The laws changed, the vocabulary in people's homes changed. So it was, you know, the play wasn't the only thing that came out of it. Right. Everyone put their energy towards it. And we all thought things would change, and they didn't, which was what is so unbelievable about the time we live in. It's not that things have gotten worse, but things certainly haven't gotten better.
Was there something about creating that piece of work, though, that brought you a sense of deep purpose?
Yes, absolutely.
Through creating art? Mm-hmm. I think what's also really interesting when we were researching for the interview, which I think is so cool, is that you've been able to traverse both worlds as a performer. Both being a performer and artist in India and in America. So you obviously had a breakout role as well in the hit film Deli Belly.
Yes.
So I've always wondered this, are there cultural differences between being a performer and actor here in America versus being a performer and actor in Bollywood?
I'm going to say something a little unpopular.
Sure.
There's no difference in terms of set or caliber or anything. There really isn't.
And then equal narcissism in both?
Equal Harveys in both.
Okay, gotcha.
I think. There is something about being on a set in America where you know the PA, or you know that someone running crafty, or someone just helping you out of your trailer wants to be a director or an actor or a producer and is there because they have a dream. That is a beautiful thing about a set, right? It is like everyone there is there because they have a dream. And everyone, for the most part, I know people sometimes are really treated like shit, but everyone is treated very respectfully. But in India, there are times, not only on sets, but also in people's homes or whatever, that the people who are the PAs or the chaiwalas or the assistants who are treated, or the grips assistant or whatever, who are just shat on in a way that was inexplicably cruel. And that was very bizarre to witness. Very bizarre.
Yeah, that's heavy. Because you feel that when you travel, when
Yeah.
you go to India.
Yeah.
That hierarchy and pecking order.
Hierarchy, yeah. Yeah, I think it has, we grew up in a caste system, in a classist society, and but that's the biggest difference. Like you can't be so disrespectful here.
I have to hard pivot to like now like a lighter question. This is like so crazy.
I
I've been
love-
performing for 20 years and I can't hard pivot into this. I'm like, this is wildly depressing.
I
what you
love
just said.
hard pivot. I hope it's a really dumb question next.
Well, this is a piece of advice.
Yeah.
Because I've given your son a piece of advice.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
Through my work, he's
Yes,
been given
indeed,
advice.
indeed.
So you have...
You want to tell that story? So should I tell that story?
Tell the story, yeah. You have a 17-year-old son.
Yes, so he just turned 18. He was graduating high school, and he was his school's salutatorian.
Yeah.
Which I never knew the word, but
Yes.
it's the second
place.
place.
First loser, second place.
Exactly. Also known as first loser. And he gave, we practiced his speech a little bit, and, whatever. And he's a little nervous about public speaking. Like, it's not his thing at all. And so he gave this speech, and he threw in a joke right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And his speech was so funny and so good that a girl asked him out on a date the next day. Like, that's how good it was.
Poorna, that's out of a TV show.
That's out of a TV show. It is. And then I was so blown away because it was so funny. I'm like, how did you prepare? What did you do? And he's like, I watched Hasan Minhaj's White House Correspondents' Dinner like 100 times.
That's
so
crazy.
he had your timing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Was he doing the hands a lot too?
He was doing the hands a little bit. He was
He was pretty dialed in. You sent me the video. He was very dialed in.
Yeah.
He was very funny and
Yeah.
charming.
Yeah. It was very
That must have
cute.
been a very proud mom.
It was so stupid proud. I was like this.
Were you crying?
Of course. Sobbing. Just
So I have a
sobbing.
7-year-old and 5-year-old.
Yes.
Can you prep me for teenage years? I have a lot of feelings the way I feel about
Let
my
me
son.
tell you this, what happened one day. Boy is 15. 15.
Yeah.
He breaks his phone. I have an old phone. I'm like, okay, well, I need to upgrade, so you take my old phone.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill me. You take my old phone, and I'll get a new one. So we go to the Apple store. It is a Friday at 4:30.
Yeah.
He doesn't know his iCloud password, right? So you understand now. I have a new phone with my iCloud, and my old phone is with him with my iCloud.
This is a great story. I know where this is going.
At 4:30 the next day, I get a download of all his texts and his photos.
No subpoena needed. On your phone.
On my phone.
iCloud dump.
I got him.
You saw iMessage of your son.
It was awful. It was awful.
What are we talking about? I mean, we're talking about...
We're talking about sex, drugs, rock and roll.
all of it.
It was just 24 hours.
At 15.
I just did, that day, I think I may have just accomplished like a load of laundry. He just ran the gamut of stuff that a kid could do. And it was so much altogether that I still haven't addressed it properly. I didn't have the words to address it. I was like, let your father come home and talk about it. I don't think none of us talked about it.
And you guys never talked about it.
It was just too much.
Just send him the link of this.
Yeah.
And then what he can do is, instead of talking about it, he can leave a comment.
That's
in the
right.
comment section.
That's right. That's right.
This was great.
This was great. It
This
was
was
so
awesome.
easy.
I just don't like that we were this far apart. But what can you do?
This is at the end of your interview. You're bringing that up.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Kolkata Chai. Gentler caffeine, low sugar, and bold flavor. That's the promise of chai. I'm talking about the rich, authentic flavors of masala chai, made with organically sourced tea and hand-milled spices, started by two real brothers in 2019. This chai is the real deal. If you don't believe me, this is the only chai we serve in my house. Grab the best chai in the game at kolkatachai.co.
Deli Boys is I think, a groundbreaking show because you would think, based on the premise, two brown dudes working at a convenience store, quite stereotypical, but it's actually the opposite. What's really cool about it is you guys get to finally play three-dimensional characters inside of generally roles that we would audition for, where it would be you'd be exposition. What was that like?
It's awesome, like to actually have the weight. I played like, gas station guy or something like that, and while you're doing it, you're like, oh, you're just like 3 seconds in the thing, and you're like, damn, dude. Like, I know people who are gas station people in my family, and I'm like, they have interesting lives. Like they have like, families and ups and downs, insecurities, problems, and all that. But it just gets reduced to like, hey, you can't do that in the store, and like you as a person become the joke rather than something you're doing or saying or something like that. And so to have the opportunity to be like, man, we get 10 episodes.
Yes.
To like really get in there and like show all facets of this person was like, it was awesome.
How was it for you?
Man, dude, it was the best job. It was like,
Yeah.
I could die tomorrow and I'd be like, I did
No,
a
not
thing.
in New York, dude.
No.
Somebody will make your dream come true. Not in this city.
So why do you think it's so important that you guys get to finally play South Asian dumbasses?
Because, we're not a monolith.
Yeah.
There are real there are more South Asian dumbasses than there are South Asian doctors.
Dope. Name names.
Yeah, how many of your cousins? Let's run down the line. First and last name.
Oh, I have
First
so
and last name,
many.
say it into one of these cameras.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Just do it. Just put it on the internet and let's let it live
They won't see
forever.
it. Only like 1 million people will see it. Not a big deal. It won't get
I'll say one cousin's name, and
Say
he's just gonna get excited. And
Sure.
he gets it. Jamal Siddiqui.
Jamal Siddiqui, you
You're
dumbass.
Yeah. But we love
You
him.
couldn't even make it to the Caribbean?
You
Holy shit, man.
You dumb fuck. You're so dumb.
He's my favorite person, one of my favorite people in the world. But he knows it.
Yeah.
He knows it.
He knows it.
What specifically about him makes him so dumb?
And it's not that he's dumb. It's just that like me, he could also not become a doctor. He's just like a degenerate guy.
Sure.
We don't care to save people's lives in that way.
Right.
We're not gonna do it. We'll mess it up before we succeed.
Yeah. The malpractice alone.
Good to know he's not deserving of love and
No,
respect.
I mean, sorry, dude.
No, he's gonna love this, dude. He's gonna clip this and
Okay.
put this. He's gonna pin this on his Instagram.
If you watch Deli Boys, a lot of the people who play the parents, who play your guys' surrounding characters, they basically walked so we could run.
Truly.
A lot of the dope parts that we get to audition for,
Yeah, 100%,
they're in their
yeah.
50s and 60s, and they wish they had these types of media
Yeah.
roles in their 30s and 40s. Let's talk about Iqbal Thiba. Iqbal Thiba is a legend, okay? If you may know him from Glee, but he played a lot of cabbies to get to where he was. In 1994, in Living Single, he played the Pizza Man. Mad About You, he was cabbie. 95, Seinfeld, cabbie. 1996, he played a cabbie twice. 97, ER, he was a doctor. Promotion.
Ooh.
98, Friends, he was Joey's doctor. 2011, Transformers Dark of the Moon, he played the UN Secretary General. Another co-star of yours, Brian George, also major
Legend.
character. Okay, he has 324 credits
It's insane.
on his IMDb.
We looked at his IMDb when we were on set, and we are like, your first job was in 1976?
Truly.
Yes.
Insane.
Insane.
24 doctors, 2 cab drivers. He plays Babu Butt on Seinfeld.
Right.
A lot of people know him from that.
Yeah.
Also played a UN Secretary General in Austin Powers.
Yes, I remember.
Just so you know. Yes. How does it feel for you guys working with someone like Brian, who finally gets to be a full 3-dimensional human being?
They've walked through the fire and had to do all those roles that we had the luxury of being like, you know what, I don't want to do a terrorist role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so their enthusiasm on set being like, dude, this is so cool that we're doing this. This is so cool that I get Brian was like, it's so cool that I get the chance to like play, again, a 3-dimensional character that has like depth, but is still like this crazy, silly, and you kind of look at it and be like, he could have also done that. It's like such a misuse of talent that he was just as talented in 1976 as he is now.
Sure, yeah.
But for it to take this long for him to have the opportunity to actually like use the full range of his gifts was kind of sad. But they have such a good, vibe. They were like, dude, enjoy this.
Yeah,
Have fun. This
they
is
were
great.
really
They didn't
supportive.
pull any. You have no idea.
No.
I mean, there were moments of it, but it was like all in like good faith. Like especially on everybody's rap day, they each gave their own speeches and they each cried.
Yeah.
They talked about like how they've been waiting their entire careers for a job like this 40 years ago, 50 years ago, and they're like, this is the job of my life. You know, it's the most work that I've gotten to do on any character I've ever worked on, and this job is so fulfilling for a lot of those people.
One of the people that's like amazing in the show is your co-star, Poorna Jagannathan.
She's the best.
She's coming in later.
She's the best.
So go off on Poorna right now. Not in a negative way. You can say whatever you want.
There's nothing negative
you
to
can't say
about
anything other than she gets like she's always cold,
Yeah.
like freezing cold.
Oh, the temperature
Her
of
body
like
temp
her
is
hand
at
body temp.
negative 30 degrees
Damn, she's an iguana.
constantly. Yeah, but other than that,
She's
truly the greatest
elevated
person
the
you
show
could,
in a way that I don't know if anybody else could.
She's so good, and like you're saying, elevates everything and kind of
she's
brings better
so
stuff out of you.
Poised,
Yeah.
but also able to find like the comedy moments.
Yeah.
And man, she's so zeroed in on the job when she's on it.
It's like a boot camp. It was like an acting boot camp.
I'm
She's so good.
I'm not trying to throw you guys under the bus here, but I think it is her show.
It is her show.
It is her show.
She's the engine of the entire show. Yeah.
So basically, if you guys haven't seen the show, by the time this comes out, you should have watched
seen
the
it multiple times.
whole season.
Yeah.
But it's basically like you guys fuck up.
Yeah.
She comes in.
She's the fixer.
And just She's
Yeah.
like, you fucking
Yeah, we
idiots."
mess up, and then she goes, "I got it."
And then we're like, sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
And she's
sorry.
like, it's okay, Berta, don't do it again.
Yeah.
And then we do it again, and then she fixes our mistakes. And then we're like, sorry.
I'll say this too, which is wild for me to see, which is seeing you basically Muslim characters on screen be messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got a girlfriend, you're doing drugs.
Yeah.
Especially for you,
Yeah.
from from Miss Marvel.
There's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
You low-key play an imam in Miss Marvel, and then in this you play kind of just like a messy
Dude,
stoner.
my opening
dude.
shot of Miss Marvel is like me doing dua. And then my opening shot in this is like the morning after an orgy. It is nuts. People are gonna lose their shit when they see this.
But I think what is cool about it is like subverting expectation. Because growing up, we watched particular portrayals of specifically Muslim characters that kind of set what I would think is the Overton window of what America's relationship is to brown people and brown immigrants specifically. What I want to do is go through some classic iconic moments in brown America cinema with you guys.
Yeah, let's
please,
do it.
Let's take this in, let's process this together. Let's
Okay.
start. 1986, Back to the Future. Let's do the Libyan scene. Let's take a look.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
All right, let's stop it because he's got a lot of
Holy shit,
you wanna
a
do the rocket
missile
launcher?
launcher?
So here's a fun fact. The two people that you're seeing that played the Libyan terrorists, we're talking about Jeff Ohako and Richard L. Duran.
Oh,
Now, they're credited in Back to the Future as terrorist van driver and then, of course, terrorist. So that's Richard. Richard is lead terrorist here. But Jeff, also played a terrorist many other times in his career. He was in Commando, Rambo 3, Tango, and Cash. His acting roles included Bandito number 3, Goon number 1, Colombian, spelled wrong. They spelled it with a U. Merchant Thug, bar fighter. And in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, he was known as Half-Breed.
Half-breed?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Not full breed, half.
And he's like, yeah, I'm reading for Half-Breed. Here's my headshot. And they're like, could you guys sign in for Half-Breed, please?
Yeah. And there was a waiting room for Half-Breed.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Insane. Now they do it on Zoom.
And then he's like, I'm sorry, I have to leave Half-Breed. I have another audition for Vermin.
Yeah. Oh
And I
my
gotta
God.
get in line for Vermin.
I have to put more change into my meter.
All right, Richard L. Duran played a stuntman for Commando, The Last of the Mohicans, Tombstone, Bad Boys. Now his acting roles were terrorist and Back to the Future, but the same year, he was a freedom fighter in Airwolf. Kind of subversive.
Okay.
Out
So
here.
he was taking both. He was showing that he had range in the
discriminate.
limited
Out
scope.
here, reading some Howard Zinn on set.
Wow.
You could be a good guy and a bad good guy.
What did you get a chance to see this like growing up? What did this scene mean to you, like as a kid growing up? Or were you just like, this is kind of?
I mean,
Standing up, ready
when
to
I was younger, when these movies came out, I didn't even I grew up in such a diverse area that I didn't really, I didn't feel like there was racism where I was growing up, and I just didn't feel like this I didn't sense discrimination. But when I watched it as a teenager or like as an adult, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. This is the only representation that we have. And I don't even know who these guys are. Like, I mean, obviously they're brown guys, but are they like lighter skin with brown makeup?
Here's the thing. I don't know if it's better or worse that actual Middle Eastern and brown people weren't getting these parts.
Yeah, that's actually true.
I think
too.
it might be better.
It actually might be better. Yeah, that's actually
people were playing these
Oh, that's
parts.
actually a great point.
Do you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
would feel terrible if you were actually like from the Middle East.
Like self-hating.
And they're like, you got to take the missile launcher out now. Also, in the missile launcher, that guy has a wedding ring on, which really is devastating to me as a single person. That this guy was able to get married with those roles, and his wife was like, big time actor, dude. Missile launcher and Back to the
But then
Future.
there's also the thing of like, you know.
Wait. So you're a series regular and you can't wife it up?
Well, we'll see when the show comes out.
All right.
You know, the reviews will be either devastating or amazing.
Let's jump to a few years later. Let's go to True Lies.
Oh, classic.
Crimson Jihad, 1994.
Already sweating. That's how you know you're in a hot 90s action movie. People are sweating.
You have killed our women and our children, bombed our cities from afar like cowards, and you dare to call us terrorists!
Yo, the propaganda machine has been at it for ever.
And it was so good that I didn't even realize. I've seen all of these movies as a kid. None of these scenes, that's how many of them there were, that I don't even remember these. And then you also think like, okay, we're brown people. Like if you're not of the community and you see this, that's like baked in people's heads for like, what, 30, 40 years?
Forever.
That's just the entirety of the culture.
Yeah, there's kind of like this Muslim McCarthyism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to, look, let's not play the victim card too much.
Sure, of course,
You know, I've milked it a little bit too much in my career, one could argue. Hollywood has also cast white terrorists.
Here we go.
Her arms aren't swinging. She's carrying something.
Wait, what's that? Oh, shit. Sorry, Scott, the producer, wanted to fact check me real quick. I'm being told that wasn't terrorism. That was, quote, global leadership in service of the rules-based international order.
I see. You guys have advertisers.
Got it.
I understand.
Look, we've clearly come a long way.
Yeah.
Do you still have to do any crazy auditions where you're like, how is this even still happening?
The cool thing now is I can call people or email them back and be like, hey, I don't like the way that this character is going. I feel like this is not, you guys don't want to portray this way. This is like insensitive or like inaccurate or inauthentic. And it feels like now they'll at least humor you. They'll at least be like, yeah, okay, all right. This is, we can work around this and we can change it. Versus back in the day, it was like, this is what this is. You have a missile launcher and you pop out of the top of a Volkswagen.
Right.
It's either you do that or you don't get the job, kind of thing.
Right.
So it just feels like there's a little bit more dialogue. But then that also comes to the point of like, if you don't have anyone working in those higher ups that either is sensitive to those things or cares about those things, much less is someone of the community in those positions of power, then it becomes like extremely difficult. Because if they don't see it as a problem or as an issue, then they'll be like, I don't understand. We'll just find somebody who'll do it.
I've turned all of those kinds of auditions down.
Yeah.
Since when I moved to LA, the first time I got an audition that was like a terrorist type of role, I turned it down every single time. I turned down every single accent role. Those are the two things I don't want to do.
That's crazy, man. Wow.
Okay, so wait.
I just pivot the back half.
Yeah, you hard pivot. What if you bring it back? Where you're like,
I'll bring it back.
You're
I
like,
don't give a shit.
you're like, there's a huge market here.
If it's something that's actually legitimate and like has an actual reason, I mean, okay, but like oftentimes it was always used in service of like
it was the joke.
Oh, your existence is the punchline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Gotcha.
poo of it all, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of special guest stars on the show.
Yeah.
So many.
The legend,
So many.
the internet's favorite, Tan France is on the show.
Ah.
Okay, now
The
Tan
best-
France
The moment, the moment.
The best, the
plays
hottest guy
a
in the
mobster
world.
in the show.
A full-blown British badass mobster.
So what was it like for Tan France to say, and if you try anything, I'm chopping off your cock and shoving it up his ass?
Easily. He said it so easily.
He said it so, it's almost like he said it before.
Yeah.
And that's what scared me the most. Yeah, it came out so easily, like first take, we're like, all right, well, at least pretend that it's uncomfortable for you to say.
Oh, man.
He just
You
got
did a
in
full
there.
fight scene with Tan France.
He actually said that, you know, beating people up and, you know, because he did boxing, you know. He
Wait,
was-
when?
He's
In
been up-
Manchester. So
yeah.
he learned how to box because he used to get picked on for being gay. And so he was like, if I'm gonna be gay, I gotta stand up for myself. I gotta kick some people's ass.
Which would be an incredible Creed movie.
Tan is
Right?
There's a Pakistani kid in the UK.
In Birmingham?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
And Michael B. Jordan's his coach?
Yeah.
And he's like, beat up these fucking homophobes. And he's beating them left and
beating
right.
the shit out of
Yeah,
them.
you haramzada, and just fucking just smacking them, dude.
Good day.
That's great. I didn't know that. That's crazy. One of the things you guys are going to have to do while you do this press tour that's brought to you by the Walt Disney Group and the Onyx Collective is you're going to have to do the press rounds and let the American public know, are you one of the good ones? I'm just going to cut to the chase right now.
Okay.
We just need people to know, do you condemn or do you condone? I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You let me know, and the audience know. Do you condemn this or do you condone this?
Okay.
Polyamory, condemn or condone?
I don't understand it, but I can't be mad at it.
Yeah, do I have to pick one? Can I just be in the middle?
Don't do that. There's
no middle.
Wait, come on.
Yeah, we're in this together, dude.
Yeah, we're in this together.
Yeah, we're in this together.
Chet Hanks.
I gotta let him live.
I gotta.
What are you condemning?
I just, you know, dude, just be Tom Hanks' son.
Let the white boy cook!
Why are you condemning him?
I don't like his patois. You know, like.
Let the white boy
What
cook!
are you doing, man? Just be your dad's son.
Let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook.
Let the white boy cook!
Condone or condemn? Love is Blind.
I don't think I've ever seen that show. What is that?
I have, and I hate that I watch it.
You love it.
So do you condone or do you condemn?
I mean, I'm gonna just go with him. I mean, if he likes it, I'll like it.
Okay, Love is Blind, but just for platonic male friendship.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
That's just playing video games.
Yeah. That's Xbox Live.
That's just multiplayer game. That's so bad.
That's just going to the
That's Love is
pickleball
Blind for
courts, man.
heterosexual
Yeah.
men. Vivek Ramaswamy's Ohio governor's
Anybody that
campaign.
smiles and shows you the top and bottom of their teeth cannot be trusted. And that's throughout history. If someone smiles and goes,
That's true.
that's a criminal and must be
It
prosecuted
is
to the highest rate.
it's this part that's kind of terrible.
Yeah,
That,
don't.
like the bottom gum, like the, just
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
that
that's
layer.
kinda-
You're not 6 years old. Grow up. Stop it. Imagine trying so hard, you show the bottom,
bottom
of your
gums.
teeth. Ugh.
Hasan Minhaj being cast as the lead in the Vivek Ramaswamy biopic.
Love it.
100%.
You would do such a good job.
100%.
Again,
Show us the smile.
That's
Yeah,
it.
That's good.
That's it.
Oh my god! You know the scariest part is how close we are, and he's me in an alternate.
Oh,
universe.
he just took a little left
Woo! It could have gotten
Wow.
bad. It could have gotten bad.
That is
Damn.
crazy.
turn. Oh, man.
This is great. Thank you.
Dude,
Come
thank you so
on.
much.
Hurry right away, no delay, stop today. Make your daddy glad to have had such a lad.
How would you feel if you found out that you've been having the fake version of something your entire life? Outraged? Angry? Well, get ready to get mad because every cup of chai that you've bought at some chain coffee shop here in America is fake. It's packed with tons of sugar and artificial flavors that are horrible for your health. And for some reason, they keep spelling my name wrong. But it doesn't have to be that way. Kolkata chai is changing all of that. Zero sugar and natural ingredients that you can actually pronounce. Organic black tea, cardamom, black pepper, fresh cinnamon. It's the boldest cup of chai you can find with their unique range of chai blends and concentrates. And you don't have to stand in line for it for hours. You can make it at home in minutes. It's the only chai that's allowed in the Minhaj household. All other chais are forbidden. Head to kolkatachai.co/Hasan to grab your first cup and 2 free gifts on me.